Morning. I'd like to call this meeting of the Danville Boyle County Planning and Zoning Commission to order. And I wonder if one of you would be willing to give us an invocation.
Sure.
Thank you.
God, we thank you for joining us together this morning, for bringing us warmer weather. We thank you for your blessings on this community, and we ask you help us to serve to the best interest of everyone in the community and for all of Danville and Boyle County. We ask your blessings today. Amen.
Amen. So we will go now to the approval of the minutes of the January 28th meeting. And can I get a motion for approval of those?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Yeah, and just note, you have the official copy. The ones that we got in email have been corrected.
Okay, thank you. So all in favor, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go on to the financial report and turn it over to...
Yeah, this is going to be brief because we're going to talk about financials pretty detailed when we get into the budget amendment. So I'm just going to talk a few words about the month of January. So we're talking about the January report that you have here. Column on the left. But really, almost all the expenses and income were pretty normal, with the exception that we had stronger construction review fees and stronger site plan application fees in January than normal. But other than that, no, there really wasn't anything unusual occurring in the month of January. And so again, that's all my comments for the month of January, and I'll hold my overall comments about the financial pages when we get to the budget amendment. And we do need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the financial report?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so then we're going to move on to the amendment or to the audit presentation?
To the audit report.
Okay?
Hello, my name's Chad Robinson with Kerbal Roads and Butler. We completed the audit a few weeks ago, and we met in detail with the Budget Committee and went over the report in detail. First off, just want to thank Hannah and her staff. They were very helpful getting information to us, answering questions. So just want to give them a thank you on that. I think you have the audit in front of you. I will be brief in my comments, but feel free to ask questions if you have them. I'll start on page 1, which is the opinion. The first 2 paragraphs state the opinion, and the opinion just states that your financial statements are materially correct. It's an unmodified opinion. That's the opinion that you want. The rest of the report is some boilerplate language. It goes through your responsibilities as management, our responsibilities as auditors, and it makes reference to the supplementary information, and then also the internal controller financial reporting report in the back, which I'll go over here in just a couple minutes. The first section of the report is management's discussion and analysis, and what this is it just gives some brief comments as to changes year over year from the previous fiscal year to the year under audit. It gives some tables that do the comparisons and then provides some comments or context to those changes. If you flip over to page 8, page 8 starts the actual financial statements. Page 8 is the statement of net position in the governmental fund balance sheet. As a government, you have essentially 2 sets of financial statements. You have the fund financial statements, which is that first column, and then you have the government-wide, which is that last column. The difference is the fund financial statements show current financial resources, so there's no long-term assets, there's no long-term liabilities. Those are reflected in the government-wide, which is that last column. The middle column is the adjustments that take you from the fund financial statements to the government-wide financial statements. So at the end of the year, if you look at the bottom on that far right column, your total net position, which is your equity position, ends at a negative 137,245. And that is predominantly or pretty much completely the result of the net pension liability, which you can see about middle of the page. Your proportionate share is required to be included in the financial statements. It's not a bill that you're going to get. It's just your proportionate share that gets funded through the actuarial required contributions each year. Page 9 is the statement of governmental fund revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance, and the statement of activities. This is your income statement. The only line I'm going to point out is your change in net position. It's the third line from the bottom. The ending net position is $16,704, and that is on a full accrual basis. So that includes, you know, the accounts payable, accounts receivable, things like that. The next section is the footnotes. That's on page 10. There's several pages of footnotes. A significant amount of the footnotes stem from the pension liability and the OPEB. And OPEB is just the health insurance portion of the pension liability. It is a separately reported asset or liability. In this case, it was an asset. The next section on page 23 starts the required supplementary information. Page 23 is the budgetary comparison schedule. The only thing to note on this, and I'll go over it a little bit more here in just a second, is the fourth line from the bottom. The expenditures exceeded the budget by $10,357, and that is something that we have to report in the report at the end, and I'll go over that in just a second. The next few pages are required supplementary information for the net pension liability and the net OPEB liability. We're required to produce 10 years of comparative information that gives what the proportionate share was. And so once those standards that required those are in place for 10 years, you'll have 10 years worth of data. And so you do for the pension liability. The OPEB liability, there's 9 years worth of data in there, so next year will be the first year with 10 years worth of data. That gives you an opportunity to compare how the plan has changed your financial statements over the years. On page 31, that's the report on internal control over financial reporting. So this is where we're required to put in information or internal control deficiencies that we come up with or non-compliances that we find during the audit. There's 2 items to note, and those can be seen on page 33. The first one is the lack of segregation of duties. This is a recurring item because of the small office environment. It's almost impossible to completely segregate duties. So we just recommend that the commission continue to oversee the financial statements, ask questions, and make sure that you're reviewing everything thoroughly. The second item is what I mentioned previously, the expenditures exceeded budget. The KRS statutes require that all funds expended have to be appropriated. So basically, when you recognize that you're going to exceed your budget, you have to make a budget amendment. So we want to make sure that in the future when that happens, that you make a budget amendment. And that was almost entirely related to the fees for the Bluegrass Ag Comprehensive Plan. It wasn't known what the actual cost was when the budget amendment went through. And so there was I guess a known that you would have the cash balance to cover it. We just didn't get a budget amendment to reflect that. So that's all I have. If you've got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
So it's my understanding in regards to the lack of segregation of duties that this doesn't relate to the work of either Hannah or of Lisa in terms of them being the one employee who has access to both physical assets and related accounting records. This is a situation where another person is handling that. Is that correct?
No, this is a situation where just in a small office environment, if they're taking cash in, there's just not enough to have proper oversight, so to speak. So one person would have the ability to take in cash and make a deposit, those sorts of things. So it's just a small office environment, and it's very, very common in a small office environment. I'd say in that comment is probably in the vast majority of the audits that we do, just because of the limited number of people in the office.
Is there anything else that we could do to help to deal with that?
You do have some segregation of duties in that you outsource the expense side of things. It's more on the cash receipt side that that is probably the main driver of that comment now. You know,
It's not possible to have, it's not possible to not take money from somebody coming to the window to pay a fee
right,
until one of the commissioners or somebody else in the city is there to oversee it.
right.
And I think this relates to a status that we talked about a couple of years ago about us being a special purpose governmental entity, being separate from county and city. We don't have that backup that could maybe assist with this.
It would cost us far more to have another person there for those times.
So this has been in the report ever since we
Ever
went from a
since, yeah.
4-person department to a 2-person department.
Correct.
Can you stop taking cash and just take checks?
I don't think we take that much cash anymore, but
We do take a little bit of cash, but I think it's important to be open to cash.
Yeah,
um,
To people that come
Just
in
keep
in
it
the community
circulating.
and want to
Yeah,
pay cash.
sure, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was all I wanted to ask.
And was there anything else that you would see that would be a recommendation for improvement?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the transition year was probably a little bit challenging just from a, you know, Hannah getting on board late and understanding, but overall, the books were in pretty good shape. And, you know, I think just the consistent oversight with the budget committee and/or commission, I think is important in this small office environment, so.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have
Terry.
our budget oversight.
so we do need a motion to accept the audit report, accept and approve the audit report.
I'll move to accept the audit.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Chad.
so much. I guess now we're going to move to the budget amendment.
Do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait till after the?
Yes, totally up to you all. Do you all want to keep on the budget, or do you want me to wait till the end of the?
We're just thinking about the other attendees.
Okay.
If y'all are tired of hearing about the budget, we can move on, but it's totally up to you.
I think we'll just go ahead.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so we'll do the budget amendment now. And what we're talking about is this 3-column sheet that you've got. It says in the first column, fiscal year '26, July to December, and that's our first 6 months' actual expenditures and actual revenues. The middle column is what our original budget was and is for fiscal year '26. And then the third column, the one on the right, is the budget amendment that we're going to be talking through now and then seeking the approval of the commission. Well, first thing I want to say before we start any of this is that we could go Tuesday, you know, Hannah sat down with Ken and Sam and myself, and literally, we went through every line item on this budget amendment. We're not going to do that today. But we went through every line item on there where, you know, Hannah basically showed us what we spent in the first 6 months, what our budget was, and then her forecast, you know, for what we should budget for the remainder of the year. And so I'm probably going to be talking to maybe 7 or 8 lines here, but we literally went through every line on the budget. So the very first line to talk to is line number 1, which is the beginning balance. You'll see that in the center column, we budgeted to start the year. This is money we thought we were going to have in the bank of $87,230. Well, the results of the recent audit that you just heard from Chad is that the actual starting balance for this fiscal year is closer to $104,000. And the reason for that, $17,000 higher starting balance is we actually collected $40,000 more in fees than we had in the original budget. We had $17,000 lower salaries because we didn't have a director in the fourth quarter that we were paying a salary to. And we did not receive fourth quarter Danville or fourth quarter Boyle County contributions in time to put them into, well, we did receive them. Well, we didn't receive them in time to put them into fiscal year '25. Remember those dumped into fiscal year '26?
Carried over.
And that was $42,000. And if you put those three things together, we wound up with $17,000 more than we had budgeted for to start the year, okay? And then the lines 2 and 3 are the Boyle and Danville contributions. And if you look at the budget amendment, you can see that we budgeted $75,000 if you look at the center column from each of those two entities. And you can see that in the budget amendment, we're forecasting to receive quite a bit more than that because we've got in there the extra quarter of contributions that we didn't get in time in fiscal year '25 to put in '25. So now here it is appearing in '26, all right? Next line is line 13. You can see these are zoning permits. We had budgeted $10,000. Our best estimate now is $1,000. Quite frankly, we don't, there was a time back when before Steve Hunter came on board, that we charged for residential zoning permits, and Steve stopped that. He thought it was a nuisance to the community, that we shouldn't charge every person for a zoning permit, and so we stopped that. According to Hannah, she's been receiving some pressure or encouraging lately from the city and county that maybe we start that back up. I'm thinking here that Michaela was also receiving that pressure, and she put $10,000 in the budget to start it back up, but it never got started back up. So we still don't collect residential zoning permit fees, but there was money in the budget to do that, and so we reduced that back down to $1,000. Then line 19 is the total commission revenue, and that's the total planning and zoning commission revenue. And you can see that the budget was $194,000. Our current forecast is for $232,000 roughly, which is a $37,000 increase. And most of that increase is due to this fourth quarter '25 contribution from Danville and Boyle County that we got this year, five quarters of contribution, rather than the normal four quarters. The next line is new and something we'll say something about. This is the total Danville Architectural Heritage Board revenue. DHB is not under planning and zoning. It is under Hannah. But what we discovered was that we have one bank account, and that $103,000 at the top, that was the same bank account that we draw on and that DAHB draws on.
Can we separate the bank account?
No, we don't, there are several bank accounts. And they have their own financial statements, okay? And occasionally they pop up on something that we print out. But just to make sure that all the numbers are on the same basis here, we added one line under revenue and one line under expense for total DAHB revenue, and there'll be another one on the expense line, just so that when you start with our bank account at the beginning and end up with a number at the end, everything's coming and going that should be coming and going. But we're not involved with administering it, that's Hannah, but it is going to appear as a line item. And this is the first time it's done that, and we put both their year-to-date expenses, their budget, and what we've got in there is a budget amendment. And then the next line, 21, is the total of those two revenues, both planning and zoning and the DAHB. And then the final line is the total revenue plus the beginning balance. So we add to our total revenue the $103,000, $104,000 we started the year with. And that's our total revenue plus beginning balance. Now for expenditures, on line 23, you can see we got about $16,000 higher in the budget amendment than we do in the budget, and those do the higher salaries that we're paying our employees. Line 35 is worth just a few words on. We budgeted $1,200, we're forecasting $4,300. That total higher difference is because of the higher printing costs we had associated with the comp plan. We were doing a lot of printing with the comp plan. If you flip the page over, the next line I'm going to say something about is line 52. which we've talked to about a lot, and that's the bluegrass ad charges. And for both the director and the comp plan services, that's a $52,663, which was not budgeted for, and which got the secondary comment in the audit results today, by the way. And so then if you drop all the way down to line 65, that is our total commission expenditures, which is $301,472. And it's up about $70,000 over what we budgeted, and almost all of that is due to comp plan printing or comp plan fees to Bluegrass ad or director fees, temporary director fees, that type of thing. Then line 66 is where we're having the single line item of DAHB expenditures. That's just to keep things straight in our bank account. And so then line 67 is our total planning and zoning and DAHB expenditures for the year, which is $326,000. And then the next line, which is 68, we call it net income. You can also think of it as ending bank balance. I mean, if everything happened exactly like we've got it here at the end of the year, we'd end up with $40,080 in the bank, okay? If you look at what we budgeted thinking we would end up with $50,000 in the bank. We're going to end up with $10,000 or less, and that's really due to a combination of four things going on, and that is we had the higher starting balance, started the year with $17,000 more in the bank than we thought we would. We got $42,000 of extra contribution from Danville and Boyle County, which should have occurred the prior year, but is occurring this year. But that's being offset by $15,000 in higher wages and roughly $55,000 in higher comp plan expenses. When you put all that together, we had about $10,000 more in expenditures than we had in unanticipated revenue. And so that is what what Hannah and the Budget Committee is proposing as a budget amendment for fiscal year '26. And we do need, we'll open up for questions, but then we do need commission approval.
So questions?
You did very good explaining, Terry.
Terry, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's all, like we got paid late
Yeah,
for what we should have been paid before. That's good.
right.
We couldn't have known how much to budget because Bluegrass Ad wouldn't tell us how much to budget.
Right,
Right.
And then we end up having to pay them because we have to pay them.
right.
And so it all washes. I mean, it's going to be clean.
Yeah. Yes.
On the question about the zoning permits and charging for that,
Yeah,
and we're going to drop it down, but we're still saying we're going to get 1,000 to,
well, I think
Kind of
year-to-date,
the-
we had some dollars in there. The actual year-to-date number on that was 364. I don't know exactly where it's coming from. I don't know if Hannah knows exactly where it's coming from, but
Okay.
we're not going to change our policy at this point. I mean, we may
Yeah,
change
can you,
it at the
can you
beginning.
talk to that, like, where's that pressure coming from? And is there something that we don't know that maybe we should know, that why they're telling us that we should ask for residential?
Well, it's been a conversation just because of a few different plats in the past, but specifically the Dutton plat that happened in December, I think, where it got a building permit but did not fall within the zoning permit restrictions, and it created kind of a bunch of issues after that. So county and the city, both commissioners and Judge Bottom have made it be known that that's what they want, that they want us to start doing residential permits in the county, but I think that we should only be doing that for single family in the county. And in our ordinances, we don't have any zoning permits for Junction or Perryville at the moment, which I don't think we should do. But I think if that's something that the county and the city of Danville want, then I think that's something that we.
is there anything in our ordinance that says we do charge for those plots?
No, there's language in our ordinance that we don't charge for residential in
Yes.
the county.
I think Steve
or
Hunter removed
Junction or
that
Maryville.
So-
years ago.
So it's
So
only
we would
commercial
have
or
to have
residential.
So we'd have to amend the ordinance?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'd have to do a zoning
Right.
ordinance text amendment.
Right.
All right,
So theoretically, we'd have to bring it to the advisory committee and then, so.
gotcha. Okay.
Is there any discussion about amounts for those permits?
No, but I think that's something me and Rusty would talk about, me and the building inspector. I don't think it should be unreasonable, but I think it would be a good way to kind of like supplement some of this extra spending that we have had in the past, maybe.
What
So-
is exactly the fee for?
Yes.
The residential zoning permit. So it's
Any
basically just for,
permit?
yeah, it's a zoning permit. So it would basically just be me checking the setback requirements, making sure that, the house falls within the setbacks when it's a new development. Yeah, just so,
So
Just
any.
building permit?
just a
new
building,
house.
or
Okay.
just a zoning permit along with the building permit. So
Gotcha.
right now, Rusty gives building permits, but doesn't really know if it's technically within the setbacks because they aren't required to get a zoning permit at the same time.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to build a house in the county,
Mhm.
okay,
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so Steve, part of the reason why he pulled it, me being here, I remember, but part of the reason why he pulled the residential, one, because we're charging people twice. Two, because none of us are surveyors, and we can't legally go out there and just use that little wheel and tell someone you're wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So it was kind of not doing anything beneficial, and that's why
Or
it was just costing people more money, and.
Did
that's
Steve
why.
think it was almost like a liability or something?
Yes.
Okay,
Because we don't have the authority to, we don't do what they do.
So perhaps we need to have further discussion of this in the advisory committee.
One question. Lisa, you said it's charging them twice. What do you mean by that?
Charging for a building permit
Mhm.
and then charging for a permit with us.
Right,
To
okay.
kind of, yeah.
We still need to approve the budget amendment.
Yes. Any other questions about the budget amendment?
So when are adjustments appropriately made? Like, I noticed there's nothing for continuing educations, there's relatively little for meetings and conferences, things like that, that I think it would be good to see what other folks are doing if that involves going to some kind of conference. I don't know what's available, but when is the appropriate cycle for that? Is that in January, October?
Well, I mean, when is the appropriate cycle to get it in the budget?
Yeah, when does the budget planning process begin?
Okay, well, it will probably start within 6 to 8 weeks. Hannah will be getting a notice from either the city or the county asking for a preliminary budget,
Okay.
probably
So the next
sometime in
couple
March,
months.
April.
Okay.
And then the budget committee and Hannah will have to reconvene and put together, revisit the budget amendment to make sure that's still our best thinking as to how we're going to end this year.
Yeah.
And then Hannah will have to put together a budget for fiscal year
27?
27. So, and we happen to have an opening on the budget committee. And if anybody is really interested in being part of this, at the end of the meeting, you can join us.
That would not be me. That would not be me.
But actually, I do want to,
But, you know, I would encourage during that process, if you could figure out who's doing best practices in planning and zoning, and if it requires you to take a day trip to go somewhere, it'd be nice to have some money.
we actually did, on line 59, we actually added $1,000 for the planning commission expense for that, for continuing education, because it's in Kentucky statutes that we're required to reimburse y'all for continuing ed. So I did want to add that because there was a couple times since I've been here that we've reimbursed either board members or commissioners. So I did add the $1,000 for that, but I
And
will
there's a
start
little
thinking
bit of
about
money
that.
there for travel.
Yeah, there's like $700.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Any other questions about the budget amendment? Can I get a motion to approve the budget amendment?
I'll move to approve the budget amendment.
Second, Tom. All those in favor? Thank you, that is approved. Terry, excellent job as always. Okay, Terry and Hannah, excellent job as always. Okay. Now we're going to go on to construction sureties.
All right, so we've only got one thing on this today. So Stonegate Developers LLC has requested a reduction in their bond from $656,326 And they actually requested to be reduced to around $50,000, but they are on the 20% bond. They did the 20% bond choice, so they are only allowed, or, sorry, they did a 100% bond choice, so they're only allowed to be reduced a total of 20% of that original amount. So they are going to be reduced to $131,265.20. I've gone out there and looked at the construction, and it looks good, and I think it's ready to go to that amount and be reduced.
20% of the original.
Is there a question?
I was just wondering what 100% means.
They put up 100% of their bond up at front so they could record properties at the deed room, so they could start selling earlier.
There's an option to post only 20% of the construction amount, but it comes with other requirements.
So is this something that we need a motion to
Yes.
approve?
Yes, yeah, just the reduction.
Further questions? May I get a motion to approve?
You think this is good?
I think it's fine.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
All right, all those in favor? Okay. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to subdivision approvals. And Hannah, can you talk to us about the first one?
Yes, so this one was tabled from last month. This is Dale and Lisa Coffey, located at 1358 Taylor Road in Boyle County. This one is out near Harrington Lake, and we tabled this because it was still non-conforming. And we talked about this during tech review, about there being 2 residences on a single lot. They decided to remove this and rescind this application.
Okay. So we take it off the table and just,
No
remove
action
it.
required.
Okay, so no action required with that. Let's move on to number 2 then, please.
All right, Bob Allen Properties has applied for a consolidation plat creating Tract A, a total of 1.397 acres from Tract 1 through 7, located at 805 Maple Avenue in Danville, and the property is currently zoned highway business. So this is right before that underpass out on Maple Ave. It's that last little corner lot.
Would anybody like to speak in favor of this or add additional information for us? Okay, and can we get any questions about this from the commissioners? Or comments?
the property is all one business. It's like, you see what it is today, and it's all consolidated as one.
Are they planning on taking down that garage that crosses the lines?
I do,
Hi, Kendall.
Hello, Kendall Wise, Advantage Engineering. The plat, these are several small lots that were platted many, many years ago to be residential homes or whatever they were,
Yeah,
50 years ago.
yeah.
They've come to be commercial properties at this point, and there's a garage there that's what we refer to as the buy here, pay here building. It used to be a restaurant.
Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
And,
Chinese
it's,
restaurant.
Bob Allen owns that now, and so they use that for some car storage, deliveries and things. But we're just, with this plat, we're grouping all of those lots together onto one property, and the garage is gonna stay. And in another part of the agenda, we have a site plan for
Yeah, yeah.
a car wash that will be
Okay,
located
so
on
you're
the
just gonna
property.
replat them into one?
Yep, just
Right.
grouping it together.
But the building that's on the plat as a garage there's actually 3 or 4 buildings on the property, right?
No. So, yes, Bob Allen Motor Mall is much, much more than what you're seeing on this plat. So the next property to the south would be the Nissan dealership.
Okay.
It's a separate
This is
tract
just
of land.
one piece.
This is
Okay.
that little
I
corner
got
where
you.
the old Chinese restaurant was.
All right. Thank you, that's helpful, Kendall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And one last question, like, the building being within the setback, that's totally grandfathered and doesn't matter when we're replatting this?
I believe it will be grandfathered in.
Okay, I want
Yes.
that to be the answer.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Are we ready for a motion to approve this?
I'll move we approve.
Thank you, Terry. Second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And then the next is the Cyrus Realty.
All right, Cyrus Realty LLC has applied for the subdivision of a 2.507 acre parcel of land known as 55 Summit Drive, Danville, and the property is currently zoned highway business. And this is out by, on the bypass, on the corner of, where the Five Star is located on the corner. So they are creating this tract just to buy from the owner. But there were really no comments during tech review. You have two plats in front of you, one to dedicate the road to the city of Danville, just to ensure that we don't have to do this in the future when they do develop that parcel. So we just wanted to ensure that whole road was dedicated to the city of Danville, and they can maintain that.
So that's the right-of-way that's listed there?
Yes, yeah. And it's, Synergy Way is already built, all the way up to the tract above where the Five Star is located. So yes, that right-of-way would be all the way down, even though that road is not technically created yet. But we just wanted to go ahead and do it before development started on that second lot.
Thank you.
And Summit Drive, what's that?
Summit Drive is north of Five Star off the bypass. So that's, you come off the bypass and go on Summit Drive. Are you asking where it is?
Yeah, well, so Summit Drive is the name for the road between Five Star and Bob Allen? Is that what that?
No,
I'm just trying to
Store
orient
Pal.
myself on the
Store
map.
Pal, yeah.
Okay.
It's really close to the cow, the big cow out there on the farm statue.
Ah,
It's on the other side of the street.
Any other?
Summit goes in between Stuart Powell and Five Star.
Yes, correct, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And okay, so Synergy's behind.
Yeah, Synergy is behind Five Star. But there were no comments during tech review, and all of those got corrected, so.
Is there anyone here who would want to make any additional comments to the commission? Are there additional questions or comments from you, Hannah?
Sorry, 1 second.
That's all right.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Madam Chair, I might ask that we hold that motion just in case. Was there any addendum to that motion, or was there another detail that needed to be addressed?
We've already voted.
My
Sure
concern
has.
is,
well,
in
we
tech
can
review,
hold.
Josh mentioned that the city might have an issue with the right-of-way track that is going to adjoin the portion that is being deeded in the next plat of the roadway here, because the roadway doesn't go all the way down. And I was just asking her if Josh had seen this and been okay with the right-of-way the way that it was still.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen this plat as corrected. Yeah, he's seen this plat as corrected, but we can definitely put that in the,
And then I have a question too, the fact that the original plat that was Nancy's property that made the road, supposedly, that we held her cash bond on for 4 years. We don't have a plat for that file that shows this road. We don't have a plat recorded in that file at all. So it looks as if we held her 40-some thousand dollars for 4 years without,
Is that what's being addressed here?
I don't know if that is addressed here is what I'm asking you, I guess.
Right.
What's the-
And Hannah and I talked about this yesterday. Rather than handling this as one plat, it's been broken out into the two, one of which handles the subdivision, the other the dedication. And that was just a way of showing all the work for this. It seemed like an acceptable solution to me.
Okay, so you're aware of the question that Ms. Bowman is asking?
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, we'll go back once again then. Are there further questions or comments? Yes, sir.
So is that going to be?
Come forward and state your name, please.
My name's James Phillips. I came up, the question I wanted to ask, is that gonna turn into business behind Five Star? Is that what we're looking at, that they're gonna try to develop business behind that, back there for this parcel of land or?
Currently, there's no development plans, and they don't have anybody specific in mind or even a sector in mind. I think they just wanted
Okay.
to
Well, I was
maintain
just
that.
wondering because of the congestion out there, it's hard as heck to get out of the Five Star back onto the bypass or across the intersection there. And if we develop more behind it, there would be even more of a congestion. I was just wondering, then we may have to put a light in out there, you know what I'm saying?
Understand
Yeah,
completely.
yes, I was just wondering.
All that gets addressed when they bring,
Site plan.
proposals forward.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, we
Yes,
don't get to
well,
address it at this stage, we get to address it later.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
that's a good question, though.
And so that's why we're doing that all the way down to that second parcel, so we can hopefully continue to grow that area, and that road will theoretically connect to the other side.
Okay. I'm going to try this once again.
I'll make a motion to get
Thank-
that approved.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay, that's approved. Thank you, guys. Now, I believe we're going to need to go into public hearing to discuss a site plan for the Bob Allen properties. And so I need a motion, I guess, to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you. And Tom, second. All those in favor of going into public hearing? Okay, that's approved. I'll let you start, Hannah.
All right, so Bob Allen Properties has applied for a site plan for the completion of a 3,287 square foot car wash located on 1.397 acres known as 805 Maple Avenue. This is currently zoned highway business. This is the same one that was just on the subdivision applications. And so you can see it's kind of surrounded by residential. You all know where it's at on Maple. And there's that buy here, pay here. And this is their site plan. There weren't too many comments during tech review other than discussing, getting into the weeds about the landscaping requirements of commercial butted up against residential. But I think that's something that we can discuss in in an advisory committee meeting if that's something that you all are interested in talking about.
So I have to ask, because sometimes it's difficult for me to get my head around. The existing garage, the car wash piece is new that's going to be behind it?
Yeah.
That's the part that we're looking at?
Yes.
That little place that used to be the Chinese restaurant that's now the, however he described it,
That's,
that continues to be there?
I believe that is staying, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what they're calling the existing garage, is the building that used to be the Chinese restaurant. Go back to the picture, Hannah, if you would. That's,
Okay,
it's
so
actually that,
which one is the garage?
with the
That
cars
structure right
around it.
there.
This thing,
This
that
one.
thing.
This one that used to be the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
And so that car wash will go directly behind that.
Okay,
All the places to put a car wash, that makes sense, if it's got car dealerships there.
absolutely.
I
Well, and it's also, it's for the use by the car dealership. It's not a public, Car
Well,
wash.
we'll hear about it.
yeah.
Those are good questions.
Anything else, Hannah?
Nothing further from staff?
I'd like to speak, I would like to have whoever is in favor of this to come forward and speak, please. Hello again.
Hi, Kendall Wise, Vantage Engineering. It is many of your assumptions are correct. The garage will stay. The car wash is a two-bay car wash with an office on the west side of it. So it will not be open to the public. You know, it's for the motor mall, and right now they wash cars by hand for all of those
Yeah.
vehicles. So this will be a
So this-
huge asset to their business.
So the intent is this is not like a public business? It's a-
Correct. No.
An
So you-
amenity of the Bob Allen
That's
business.
right.
Okay. Got that.
The entire property almost is paved currently. So we're going to be carving a spot out in the pavement to put this building, and then they'll, obviously patch back whatever pavement and grading has to happen, and it'll be repaved and impervious just like it is now. So there's no plan to put a detention basin on there. The size of the property is small enough, and we're not changing the impervious area on the lot. So the amount of water running off now is going to be the same as the amount of water that's going to run off in the future. The car wash discharges to the sanitary sewer, so that water's not going out into the environment.
There is runoff issue from that already today, right? It's part of the issue in that.
This doesn't change it.
It doesn't change. Okay.
Right, so the amount of, if there are runoff problems, they haven't been made known to us. We haven't been asked to address them, but Josh Morgan looked at this plan, tech review, and like I said, the amount of water leaving this site should be the same as the amount of water leaving the site today, just because everything's paved. And
There's adequate sewer capacity there for wherever it needs to go, I'm assuming.
yes,
So the part of Bob Allen that used to be where they hand washed the cars, I assume they may want to make some future changes to that part of their building?
I think for the most part, they pull those vehicles into garage bays, so I'm sure those garage bays will,
Probably stay.
become some new service area.
Any further questions? Thank you, Kendall.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this? Okay, questions or comments from the commissioners? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. It's approved. Okay, I need a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. We're out of public. And we'll go on to new business. So we have a report from the advisory committee, and I believe Hannah's going to provide that for us.
Yes, so as you all know, we approved a zoning ordinance text amendment on the October 22nd meeting to amend section 4.3.5 by increasing the minimum lot size in the agriculture zone from 1 acre to 5 acre. We took that to the fiscal court in December, I believe, and they voted to bring it back to us and tasked us with creating a subcommittee of stakeholders in the county. And we did that. So the advisory committee, the four of us, and myself, created a subcommittee of farmers, county EMS, county road work, Parksville Water, surveyors in the county, and just a lot of stakeholders that have professional experience in the county on the roads department. And we just got a lot of input from them on their perspective and how they want to see us handle this amendment and potentially other ways to curb development in the ag district to thoughtfully develop, or thoughtfully guide development in the city limits. So we met with them. Ultimately, we decided to not change the ordinance currently at this time, and maybe have further discussions with them and fiscal court in the future to think of different ordinances that we could accomplish the same goal. So, right now,
So,
It remains at 5 acres?
it remains at 1 acre.
1 acre.
Mhm, yeah, so,
so we will return to what it was before the amendment was
correct, yeah.
submitted.
So do we actually have to take an action to retract that 1 acre to 5 acre?
No, we forwarded a recommendation of amendment, and it was denied by the
Denied.
fiscal
Okay.
court. So
Just making sure. And then
Was it formally
also,
denied by the fiscal court? I don't think it was. I thought that they sent it back to us for
Yeah.
reconsideration.
They did.
They sent it back for reconsideration, and after reconsideration, we think it's best to stay.
So do we
Keep
need
the
to,
ordinance.
do we need to inform them formally of that?
I have a question about the advisory group you put together. I didn't hear any mention of anybody who was just a taxpayer not wanting to pay for more roads.
Yeah, so,
I mean.
are we out of public session?
I'm sorry?
Are we out of public session?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
we're not in closed session, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session.
So in order to do that, we need to have discussion of whether it's for potential litigation, for personnel issues. I think those are kind of the two justifications for going into closed session.
I think that the first case is probably the one that I'd like to bring up.
All right.
Because I think that that's actually valid.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm in new territory here. Going into a closed session requires a motion, which we have, and a justification, which
Right.
we have.
Right.
We'll need a second to do that.
Second.
Okay? All those in favor of going into closed session?
good discussion.
Anna? Did we go back into recorded session?
Yep.
Okay. All right, during the discussion, we had, during the closed session, we had some discussion of the feedback that we received, and I think that we continue to have the decision that the text amendment, which we originally approved and submitted forward to the fiscal court, and they sent back to us to do some further review and get input. At this time, we are going to hold on the text amendment that we had recommended.
All right,
Anything else?
nothing from the advisory committee?
Okay, how about anything further from the budget committee? Okay, and personnel committee? Anything from personnel?
Nothing from personnel? Oh, and then,
Okay, so the other new business that we have is election or appointment of our chair and our vice chair, and then we'll talk about committees.
I'd like to move to renominate Ms. Sally Davenport as chair.
Second?
Okay, all those in, wait a minute. Is there any other, wait a minute, is there any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you, I appreciate that very much. I do want to also say that the first year, being the chair is a learning experience, and the second year, you try to put into place what you learned during that first year, and I will try hard to do that. After that, I think we need to consider another individual moving forward to the chair, because that, I've been on planning and zoning for a long time, and 2 years as chair is a plenty. We need to look at other people to have the opportunities. How about vice chair?
I would nominate Sue Griffin to accept the nomination to go on as our vice chair.
Do we have a second?
Second that?
I appreciate the nomination. I would prefer, let me speak,
Yeah, absolutely.
because I'd have no desire to move into the chairmanship. I'd prefer if we nominated somebody who would feel comfortable moving into the chairmanship role. So, I mean,
That makes sense,
yes,
Steve.
that makes sense. I think work more closely with you, Sally. Not that I won't continue working.
No need to vote on that if Mr. Manning wishes to withdraw his motion. But maybe he wishes to put forward his motion.
Okay, so do we have another nomination for someone who would be vice chair?
Tom?
Have you figured it all out over here, guys?
I'd like to nominate Darren Farr into the vice chair job.
Now, I have nothing against you, Darren, but you're barely been on the commission very long.
That's the issue. that we should-
That's, I
That's
think,
the issue that we should
I think a
discuss.
bit more experience
Well, then-
might be helpful.
Then Dan Nolet.
Okay, so you made a motion,
I'd like to move to nominate Dan Nolet.
okay? Okay. Any other nomination?
I was ready to move to approve.
Okay, all right, let's,
oh, actually, I'm so sorry. We did get that email from Ken that he does not want to move forward with the budget review committee. So I wanted to ask if the budget review committee would be okay with just 3 members, or if you wanted to add another
just
member.
a
Right, we
moment,
have to
just a
vote.
moment. We're gonna vote
Vice
on the
chair
vice
first.
chair first.
Sorry, my bad.
I know you want to move along, but, all in favor, please? Okay, thank you, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about committees. As Hannah mentioned, Mr. Alexander has withdrawn himself from being on the Budget Review Committee. How many people do we need to have on the Budget Committee? Is it a requirement to have 4?
I don't know that it's a requirement, but I'd like to have 3 members at least to participate regularly, and Rita has not been participating. And also, my term expires in a few months.
No, your term does not expire.
Sure, very well, I may not seek another term. It's been several years. It's been 12 years. Oh,
Okay.
and so I think we need somebody on there, you know, that's going to participate and going to be an active member of the Budget Review Committee. We meet, you know, probably 4 times a year.
Right.
Something like that, so.
So would you like to remove Rita and Ken at this time and?
Well, Ken has removed
Yeah,
himself.
yeah.
So we're looking for anybody else who would volunteer and want to be part of the Budget Committee.
So Darren, are you willing to serve on the, are you willing to serve on the Budget Committee?
I'd be willing to serve.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And will that be enough, Terry?
Yes,
So it will be you, it will be Sam, and it will be Darren,
and Rita.
and Rita.
She hasn't pulled herself off. She's
Hasn't
just not
pulled herself off yet.
participating.
Okay. What about on the advisory? If there's going to be quite a bit of work with the advisory, do we need to supplement the folks that are on it? Is there anybody who wants to come off of advisory?
I would suggest we keep it less than a quorum.
No,
Yeah, you
that's
have to
true.
be, yeah, we can't be more than 4.
Yeah, that's what I've worried in the past sometimes with folks in tech review. We, for a little while, we had several folks in there.
Yeah. I'm okay with the current composition. You guys are with advisory.
I am, you
and
guys
we're
know that,
balanced with,
you know, when I'm in town, I want to be here all the time. And even when I'm not, I'm going to be able to email with you guys and talk via Zoom or phone.
okay.
So, we have 2 that are representing or have been put on planning and zoning from the city on advisory, and 2 that have been put on from the county. I think that's a good mix. Anything?
The only thing is we haven't assigned Terry to anything
I mean,
in terms of committees.
I'm on the
Tech review.
Tech review and budget.
Oh,
You mean Scott, Terry?
Scott.
Yeah.
Terry.
Oh.
Scott,
Yeah.
Terry, Justice, Terry.
The 3
That's
names,
the
yeah.
other, because
Yes,
I
he
know
is-
him as Terry.
Yeah, he is not on any committees.
Yeah, sorry.
He's not on any committees. We need to put him on a
Would,
committee.
I wanted to ask about personnel. Would you want to trade Rita for Scott?
We could.
Okay.
Scott should be on tech review. In place,
Scott Terry.
Terry?
Scott Terry
Okay.
should be on tech review in
Are we
place of Dan.
speaking about Mr. Justice?
Yes.
Mr. Justice.
As a builder, I think he would be very good on tech review.
So tech review and not personnel?
Sounds like that's
Okay.
what's wanted.
All right.
Do you need anybody else on personnel besides myself and Rita?
Yeah. Terry, yeah.
All right, so are we finished with
Yes, can I go over this to confirm
Absolutely.
with everybody? Okay. Chairman Sally, Vice Chair Dan, Technical Review Committee, Terry, Darren, Sam, and Terry Justice. Personnel Committee, Sally, Steve, and Rita. Budget Review Committee, Terry, Sam, Darren, and Rita. Advisory Committee, Sally, Dan, Tom, and Darren. And then Beautification Committee, Dan.
Does that mean,
No.
do we need to have that at all since it doesn't meet?
We've never met.
No, we're good. I think we can probably X that out.
I think you can cut that out. Yeah, thank you.
The beautification.
Committee.
Some people say, go to that meeting,
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
but it doesn't meet.
it never meets.
Has never met that I know of.
I mean, but it's not our committee, we're just a
No.
member.
No.
It never
Correct.
meets.
Never.
I've never been
So who
invited
does
to a
all the
meeting.
beautification in Danville?
I think they've, since being on DHB, I think they've stopped that. I went to
Don't do
one
it anymore?
DHB meeting and I don't think they do it anymore, yeah.
Let's remove that from
Okay.
our list,
Yeah. Sounds
unless
good.
we're asked in the future to
Yeah.
submit.
Okay.
I'm willing to join if
Okay,
they meet.
thank you.
I had the same experience. We have on here Bluegrass ADD Regional Planning Council. Are we to submit a name of someone to be on that?
Not that I know of, but I can check with Bluegrass Ad, do you know?
Is it going away? I thought that they were downsizing their planning unit maybe to,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's worth looking into
Okay.
before we,
I think we need to look into that and find out
Okay.
if we're supposed to have someone who's
Right.
a part of that.
Okay, I'll double check with them.
And is there any other committees that we need to look at? All right, you go ahead and tell us who we ought.
Who we got
One
for?
more time.
One
Oh, one more time. Okay,
please.
gotcha. Okay. So,
Tech review,
Technical Review Committee, Terry Mannon, Darren Farr, Sam Collier, and Terry Justice. And then Personnel, Sally, Steve, and Rita. Budget Review Committee, Terry, Sam, Darren, and Rita. Advisory Committee, Sally, Dan, Tom, and Darren.
Should we take some of that load off Darren by taking him off tech review? Or unless you want to stay on all three committees?
That would put Tech Review down to 3 people and it'd be safer that way.
What do you want?
I'm fine with that.
Being taken off?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So off tech review?
Yes. So Tech Review is just going to be Terry, Sam, and Terry.
Okay. That's confusing.
okay, so,
Maybe, so Terry, since you and Sam kind of do the most there, if you have issues with, like, maybe Terry can't join or something, maybe you could be an alternate or something if you want.
Yeah, usually we don't know till the meeting who shows up.
Right. But that would be great, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and are we missing anyone from the committee, or, excuse me, from the commission being on a committee?
Just Ken
Ken
currently.
the only one?
Ken is the only one, yeah.
We really need to look at attendance. I think it's time for us to look at attendance and determine if there is a member that hasn't had insufficient attendance. We can now look at the previous year. I think I recall Ken being at 2 meetings,
Me as well.
perhaps?
Yeah.
And now he's being called out overseas again, so
Yeah.
it's not a lack of willingness on his part, I just think he gets pulled out.
Well, we might need to approach the city to say,
The city
They could
has
reconsider.
discussed that with me, actually, about that appointment and maybe adding some language in the membership, or in the outlines for the commission members, to just ensure that in a calendar year, they're here.
I thought there was something
XYZ.
in there.
Mhm.
that-
There is something in
That
there?
requires so much, if you miss so many meetings, then, you know. And when that's come up in the past, we've said, rather than just enact that and say you've missed 4 meetings, you're no longer on, you know, we'd have you talk to the individual, saying, you know, are you able to continue this, or you know, we wouldn't just arbitrarily pull them off. You talk to them first,
Right.
or do they need to go back to the city and county? I said, you know, I really can't do this because I'm traveling too much.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what you would do in Ken's case. I think you would talk to Ken and just say, you know, do you still feel you can be an active part of the committee? Or if not, then we need you to talk to Danville and ask them to be searching for an alternate representative.
Okay.
Because when he's involved, he's really good. He's just not around as much.
he is, and I spoke with him previously, and he had felt that he would be able to more frequently attend, but then circumstances did not allow him to do that.
Yeah.
I think we do need to speak to the city.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll make sure to do that.
Because we want to have a quorum, and we
Right.
want to have the representation that's
Yeah.
intended.
As does the city, I think.
Okay, that takes care of that business. Are there any announcements?
I would like to request a small addition to the minutes. These updated minutes, I would like to add one more update to them. I'm looking at page 4, where it references Henry language for the zone map amendment. This is for the Meade tractor on Lebanon Road.
We have all of that, Henry. Have you seen it?
So that one is actually an old.
This is an old copy?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Sally has the official.
Yeah. Sally's the only one with the revised copy.
Motion withdrawn.
I did everything from your email, let's put it that way, so is that covered? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we both got it.
Any other announcements?
I've got nothing.
All right, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you all.